Welcome to the Sci-Fi Center, the place to be, where comic books and wrestling collide magically. Movies, TV shows, and pop culture we share. Get ready to rock, we're here to take you there. From superheroes to aliens in outer space, we've got the latest news and reviews in our embrace. Turn on your screen, let the neon lights glow. We'll take you back to the 80s. Let's rock and roll. Sci-Fi Center, where the legends come alive. Get ready to geek out, let your imagination fly. We're diving into the past with a touch of modern flair. Sci-Fi Center, the ultimate pop culture lair.
Ooh, I don't know why that did that just now, or why it's not giving me the proper screen. But hey, welcome to an Open Topic Tuesday. Sci-Fi Center presents Midnight Express. Brought to you by me, the Sci-Fi Center. As you can see, you can go to the sci-fi-center.com and purchase stuff right off the website. The link is pinned to the top of the chat. Some of those items have free shipping. About to go on a huge sale because we are closing in on the last few days of the shopping season for Christmas. So, and you want to be able to get your stuff in so that I can get it to you in time. So no real particular topics today. I am not looking forward to this week. Like I said before, when it comes to the Superman trailer, it'll be cool just to see it and, see where we're at as far as tone and all that. But I am not looking towards the discourse. It's just going to be an unearthing of shitheads. You're going to have one side who is going to hate anything that James Gunn does before they even see it. And then you're going to have my favorite, the move on shitheads, who really just need to move on from us, who it could be a pile of feces with eyeballs and an S on it, and they're going to say it's the greatest thing of all time, simply to stick it to Snyder fans. And I can already see it happening right now. I can see it. That's why I've kind of muted most of the references to it until we see the trailer on Monday. Listen, guys, it's like I don't have enough regard for most people's opinion about this to really, carry on a conversation, even though this is what we do. When it comes to Superman, and to be honest with you, Superman fans, when it comes to Superman on cinematic and on big screen, in my opinion, some of them, a good portion of them, may be worse than Star Trek and Star Wars fans. They definitely do as much damage to their franchise. And what I mean by that is that we have way too many people who desire and want the Superman that's stuck in their head than the one that somebody may present to them. I don't know how many times I heard the fucking word hopeful. I just want a hopeful Superman, a colorful coloring book, Sesame Street, warm and flubby. Get the fuck out of here with that. And in their next sentence, it doesn't seem like most of these people even know what hopeful is, or what they're even talking about. And that's why, like I said, the conversation goes south real quick. They will bring up a particular one. Well, this guy pouted all the time. He was never happy. And I'm like, you don't know where those versions of Superman were going to end up. We never let the storyteller tell his or her story before we fix and super glue our childhood Superman onto whatever they're doing. I know that's what happened with Zack Snyder's Justice League because I grew up with Christopher Reeve's Superman. And it just made me want to vomit on each and every person that tried to force someone making a new story in the modern era to some 40-year-old movie, which I loved as a 6-year-old kid, but I'm not 6 years old anymore. And I'm seeing it now. As soon as that trailer hits, it's going to be the same shit. So it's like, do I really want to even stream? I know we'll cover it. We'll cover it, but I'm going to warn you guys right now. I'm not going to be, we're not dedicating a stream beyond the actual trailer. We might stream it in the morning. I'll be up. I'll stream it, and give you my quick reaction. We'll cover it that night, but I'm not doing whole shows on it. I'm not going to dedicate, 2 and 3 hours to it. I just don't think there's any more conversation to have until the movie comes out. And even when it comes out, I don't even know if I want to have that conversation, to be honest with you. I just, when you have a character that's been around for 85 years, you are always going to have a pool of people who are just, never going to let go of their version in order for a new one to come in. Even the theme song. I think the theme song argument is ridiculous. On a business sense, I think it's ridiculous. That theme song belongs to Superman. And some of the reasons I don't want to jump into the conversation later on this week is because you still got people trying to tell me that John Williams theme belongs in Christopher Reeves. No, it doesn't. The S doesn't belong to Christopher Reeves. The word Superman, the character is what that song belongs to. So, I when I heard that, I was like, that's good business. And I don't expect fans to think in that regard. We think from our point of view, but one thing fans got to realize when it comes to trying to sell a movie, there's hundreds of millions of dollars on the line. So, yeah, I'm trying to still myself and see if I, like I said, I'm going to be real careful in the Superman conversation this week because I know it can go south real quick, and before you know it, you're knee deep in bullshit. So I'm gonna I'll give my opinion on it, but I'm not really gonna. That's gonna be it. I mean, I'll let Brad talk about it, but I don't want this to be an opening of the door to just try to compare every single Superman in the world and what's wrong, what's right with this one. I'm exhausted of that conversation. So beware. William, Superman marketing is officially started. Is it up now? No. I promised you from the beginning that we would cover it as much as it needed to be covered. Now, what I will cover more is if there's more information about the context of it on the DC Weekly show that's on Friday. If there's more put out about it and all that, we'll cover it as it comes out. But like I said, I'm not dedicating streams to it. I'm going to limit the conversation to it because I know where that conversation goes. And we haven't even seen the trailer yet. I'm already exhausted of the atmosphere of it. So. Oh, Droga, Brad's going to be on in a few minutes. So there's Clinton and his duck, Hunter Iggy, William Powell, Brad Curran. Did you see Brandon Davis, BD? No, I have not. Yeah, he talks about James Gunn Superman, and James Gunn Superman movie will be hopeful and serious. It's not going to be like his other movie. Okay, I did see that, and I'm like, okay. The word hopeful is starting to piss me off because I think it's being used detrimentally in a way, to say that other movies that haven't been. Your version of people's version of hopeful, they got to realize that what you see as hopeful doesn't mean shit to me, and vice versa. I thought Man of Steel had got a chance to tell his story, we would have come out on the other end of that, and that would have been hopeful. But when I hear the word hopeful, it's generally used in people who have a fixed vision of Superman in their head, and they are not willing to let whoever the current person is telling the storyline tell their story. So if he doesn't come out of a fucking cereal box happy and doing cartwheels, then that's not good enough. You know, I mean, I don't need to see a Superman come out of the chute hopeful. You're here to tell me a story. If that's where he ends up, then that's fine. But I think that word is being overused, and I think it's being used as a cudgel for other versions of Superman, in my opinion. That's the way I see it. So, and I also saw in that article about the whole Donner and Snyder viewings. I'll have to wait and see. Like I said, I'm open to new Superman, and I'm open to new interpretations of Superman. I just don't know if I'm open to the conversation that's going to erupt from it, because like I said, we've seen it on either end of it. It is just like, damn, that I have better uses for my oxygen and better topics. Hello, Azteca. William, did you see that James Gunn will get selected? Yeah, I'm assuming James Gunn's going to use influences from all his experiences with, whether as a fan, with Superman, or as a kid growing up. Unfortunately, that means JLI too, but you know what? I'll take it. It'll be all right. Here's fourth input. Wow. Superman trailer will seem like a chore if you follow all the discourse around it. If you guys follow all the shithead, especially your boy Brad, give yourselves a headache. I don't. If you guys, I probably guys have the most boring when it comes to like Twitter and all that. I probably have the most boring social media. I just don't engage. I don't feel, if I post something or if I respond to something, I don't feel the need to go to World War III to defend it. Everybody's like, well, I have to stick up for myself. No, you don't. You said what you said. Stand by it. Unless you have new information to add to your point, then that's it. Let the sycophants, squirm and figure out what to say next. The trailer itself, like I said, I'm gonna like I said, I'm gonna be real careful, and that's what I've been thinking about this the last couple of days, how I want to cover this, because I don't want to be part of the discourse. I want to comment on what I see, what I like, what I don't like, how I feel, and then that's it. Move on. And as we get closer, and as we get more information, as we get more, things and visions and all that, we'll talk about that. But as far as like other people's opinions about it, I mean, I want to have the conversation, but I've seen where that conversation goes, and it's just not worth my time sometimes.
No, come time it seems.
Yep, but I do feel you, William. Please, I just don't want to have an opinion on it when other people trash something they choose not to understand. Yeah, I mean, like I said, in order to have a conversation, I have to have people with the intellect to have the conversation. I can't listen, territorial Superman guy. Listen, I like viewers, I like getting likes, I like all this stuff. But territorial Superman guy, I don't need you. The Superman fandom, in my opinion, doesn't need you. If you can't buy into Superman as a franchise as a whole, to me, you're just lead weight on a lake on its way to the bottom. You bring nothing to the conversation. I'm happy that you had a childhood. I'm happy that you had a Superman that you connected with. But I don't need you rolling that up as a newspaper and coming into my conversation with it. And if you're in a conversation I'm glancing by, I'm just going to keep going. It's just not worth it. It's just not worth the time. Like I said, these actors and actresses that play these roles were assets to play the roles. Nothing belongs to them. They belong to Superman. They belong to the S. 50 years from now, the S will be there. 100, Lord willing, 100 years from now, the S will be there. And hopefully there's more brain cells in the conversation to be like, well, that's so-and-so's boots. And so, come on. Seriously. I mean, I think if anything has drugged down Superman, other than the fact that he's not Batman, more than anything, is that people clutch onto their versions of Superman like it's a fucking death grip. That if you let go, your memories are going to go away. My memories of Christopher Reeve Superman are going to be there. They're vivid. They're right in my head. They're not going anywhere. They didn't go anywhere when Brandon Routh Superman, even though that was not a good movie. They didn't go anywhere with Zack Snyder, even though I appreciated what Zack Snyder did. I appreciated it as being something different. So yeah, I'm just not interested in the whole territorial my Superman or this Superman's this and this is Superman bad. That's words, like I said, that when I see them scroll on their chat, I'm just gonna keep going. I am not interested in that conversation. Buy into the franchise, or there's other YouTubers.
Yeah. Although, I mean, I assume you're referring to that thread I did, the other day before, that kind of addressed a lot of this, which I did a pretty epic, kind of pre-trailer release discourse commentary thread on that. If you guys want to kind of see my thoughts on that, kind of did a lot of that about how we got here, where I stand on things, where a lot of people do, and how we should, I think, can improve the conversation. How's it going, Aaron?
Zero expectations for what I'm about to see on Thursday, so there's no way I can lose. I don't know Faith. I don't know. I mean, like I said, he's a top tier director. I don't know where we're going with this. I do like the catchphrase. It's my show. I can do whatever the fuck I want to, Donovan. If I wanted to ban you, and I don't, because that would be childish. It's my show. And I'm not saying that to be some egotistical asshole. It's my show. If I want to do an hour and a half of me tying my fucking shoes, then that's the right answer. And Donovan, when you get on your platform, if you have a link to whatever your platform, whatever you want to do on your platform is the right answer. Right? It's my show. I want to dictate what we talk about. Otherwise, why would I do my own show, Donovan? Does that make any sense? But when it comes to Superman as banned topic, the banned topic of the Superman was primarily months ago because we didn't have anything to talk about. We have stuff to talk about when it comes to Superman. I'm not getting into discourse because I know the shitheads are out there. I know the shitheads are out here, and I don't need. And in both ends. Both ends. Like I said, you got people who are calling this Superman 2025 the Holy Grail, and they haven't seen anything from it. They haven't seen anything from it.
They're using it as a cudgel, to bash, other fans over the head with.
I have no use for you. And then you have the other ones who are like, like I said,
want to tear it down before they see it. Yeah,
exactly. So where's my conversation? I need better people if I'm going to have this conversation.
Well, that's why you got me.
We should play the Man of Steel trailers for us. Watch the Superman last when they do. We could. I'll be up. I mean, we're going to cover it. We will cover it, but I'm just going to be very careful about my conversation. I'm not getting caught up in. I listen. I like Superman 1980. Superman 2 1980. I love it. Great. That's what the hell does that have to do with whether this movie's going to be good or not? I just don't. I don't want to be part of when I roll up. Now I can't even click on an article half the time. Sometimes whenever I do want to respond to something and just leave a base comment, something like that, I look at all the comments and I'm like, why am I wasting my time? When you got people who basically are writing with their feet and typing with their feet, typing the dumbest shit. I'm like, there's no conversation to be had here. When we talk about this conversation, there will be a ban list. I'm like, listen, your grievances when we watch this trailer on Thursday morning, time you out. I don't care about your grievances about whatever Superman. If you want to bring up a positive comment about that, that's fine. But I don't want to hear about this Superman. I don't want to hear about it. I've heard that for the last 7-8 years. I've heard that since 2013. I've heard about everybody's grievances when it comes to their version of Superman and how the world is going to end if it's not exactly like that. Or heaven forbid, they go into your house, into your safe, and take the John Williams thing and put it on the character that it belongs to. Holy shit. The world is going to slip off its axis, and dogs and cats will be living together. So I'm tired of that. Just like I said, I want to be careful about the conversation. Well, we'll have a conversation, but I've been watching streams today, and I'm like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, and we're on the Vodka stream on Friday. We'll probably I have no doubt that'll be a big topic on there.
But Dave has a way of crafting it to the point where you can get the sense that Dave just ready for a different conversation. I'm not speaking on behalf of Film Junkie, but you can see it, you can hear it. I'm ready for a better conversation than the one I know we're going to have on Thursday morning, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, speaking of trailers, though, we got another trailer for Karate Kid Legend.
Okay. Yeah,
oh man, that's now talk about a trailer doesn't have like a bad discourse around it,
so or any discourse around it.
Oh God, I can't wait for this. And Aaron and I share with you, it's like, oh man, oh I can't wait. This is like Karate Kid, Cobra Kai fan, Jackie Chan fan, like martial arts fan. This is like your dream come true. I mean, this is like, I can't wait for this on May. All right, probably the 29th.
In the science fiction, horror, and fantasy, and this is where, Braden, I'm missing.
It's sci-fi because they transposed the multiverse to retcon the 2010 movie into the mainline franchise. So there you go.
That's not
can't wait. Aaron, it's like, buy a ticket from Australia and come over to Savannah so we bring my
thousands of dollars.
See with my baby sis. Come on.
We need to make a habit out of making MCU and Sony Marvel's band. Nah, they're actually producing stuff. Why would I do that?
Yeah.
They're actually making stuff. I mean, they're actually producing stuff that you could talk about. I've had reason to talk about Fantastic Four since I left Comic-Con. Why would I ban them? I mean, they're actually doing something. And guess what? When they, for the most part, 99.9%, there may be a 1% somewhere there somewhere. So when they say something's going to happen, I don't got to worry. Feige ain't going nowhere. Feige will leave on his own accord. I know if you're telling me that there's going to be a Fantastic Four and that there's going to be, X-Men are coming like that, I know it's coming. So yeah, we can talk about that. Sony is producing stuff. Sony is putting stuff out there. We could talk about it one way or another, but I don't have to have a crappy conversation about, I wonder what we'll know. Now, we had our conversation about Sony on Saturday, and I think it was a fair conversation. But here's the thing, though. We can talk about those 6 or 7 movies that we don't like, but that's not all of Sony, though.
Which, by the way, I just did a piece on Comic Book ranking the Sony villain movies. So it's like, you guys, I'll go to put that in the chat because
I can't talk Sony without talking Into the Spider-Verse. I can't talk Sony without talking Across the Spider-Verse. I can't talk Sony without talking about all the other movies that they've made that made no less than $700 million. So there's a conversation to be had with Sony and MCU. When it comes to DCU, the output hasn't been there. I mean, we've been waiting around for this movie for almost 2 years now.
And by the way, RJ actually tagged us in something. I don't know if you saw this.
Yeah, he tagged me in something, but at that time I shut down. What was going on?
Well, it was the. You want to go ahead and pull up?
Oh, but the whole this movie, everything
comment
is riding
that
on this
Gunn
movie.
made, like I think Gizmodo, where it's like, so much is riding. Which I mean, it's not like we didn't know that, but it's just hearing. From the
I read it, and I think that's I hope that has changed. That comic came a year ago when they were still filming.
Oh, it's a year? Oh, that's not a recent.
That wasn't. I don't think that was today. If you read that article, I think it says a year ago on the set. But even if that,
so it's coming out now, but it's reporting from a set. Okay, that's.
And I have a massive problem with that, and I think Campia brought this up too about the Superman trailer. Is the most important trailer in years? We're already losing, guys. We can't continue to do this shit. It can't be
where everyone has to be the Babe Ruth coming up to hit the home run to win the game. Yeah.
Are we gonna let this guy tell his story or not? Because if you're telling me everything is riding on this trailer, and then after that everything is riding on this movie, somebody who's been with DC and wasted time and money and effort with DC, that's the last thing I want to hear. That is the absolute last thing. That's why whenever I bring up that, if somebody comes out and says this guy's under contract for the next 10 years, I feel a lot better. But if you're telling me, if I hear all these people saying this is the most important so-and-so on D&T, so you're telling me if for some reason, for a lot of different reasons, people financially or whatever don't go see this movie because they can't afford to, they want to watch it on streaming, something like that. You're telling me that with so many indicators that are out there to tell you whether a franchise can be a success beyond the box office release date, if that all doesn't go well, I'm not going to get the rest of the story that you're
told me about. You're not going to get lanterns, and we know
I'm not going to get lanterns. So I hear this, and I disagree with it. I know it's probably true, but I disagree with it. No, the Superman trailer. The trailer isn't important to any movie. but not any more than it is to any particular movie. Obviously, a trailer has its purpose. It sets the tone. Teasers have their purpose. But to say this one of all the trailers is like, if this doesn't land, I've seen some really shitty trailers over the last year that led to some really good movies. And I've seen some really good trailers that led to some really shitty movies. And then the stuff that's not even in the trailer half the time.
Yeah.
So how do you expect me to buy into a universe when you got so many people who should know better telling me that this doesn't land and this dude might not be, and even Gunn himself. Now, granted, that from what I understand, that was a year ago, but it doesn't matter. Listen, you can't. This is why he's even there. The whole reason why we have this message is because you had a bunch of bonehead reactionary assholes running the company, and you had a bunch of bonehead reactionary assholes that were cheering all that stuff on. If you're going to tell me that this is a universe, then give me the universe. Because guess what? I may not like Superman as much as the next guy. But if I'm buying into your universe, guess what? It only needs to be good enough to get me to that next step. So I saw that article and I'm like, stop it with this. This is the field goal at the at the end of regulation in the Super Bowl, or we got Freddie Freeman with the bases loaded, 2 outs and 2 strikes. I don't need to hear that. If you're telling me that this is the DC universe, then you're either going to give him time to flesh this out or you're not. And in which case, this has all been a waste of time. So I hope it does well enough to give me what we're going through. But I hate the thought that, there's so much weight put on this. It's not even the A character. That it's an A-lister, but it's not Batman.
As far as like your cash cow, yeah.
Yeah, it's not Batman, and that's not even coming for a while.
And actually, on that note, there were a couple things kind of related to that. I did want to go ahead and share. One is actually the one article I shared with you the other day about Red One. You want to go ahead and pull that up? Because that actually kind of, it sort of relates to this, because you were talking about things like as far as like measuring success and box office being like one component of that.
Yeah, that's one. I can agree with that a little bit. Like I said, I just hate that the word is not accurately used, for one. And once again, every time I hear that, you're basically telling me that what is your view? Is your view of Superman more important than the person currently writing it and putting it on and directing it? Is your finished baked product in your head? Which, congratulations, I'm glad you have one of those, because I got one of those. But is my opinion about what Superman should be more important than the guy who's doing it? Is that so strong? Is your childhood so strong that you're never going to open your mind to another Superman or another tone of Superman? Every Superman has got to be the last one that you saw. I want to see the journey that got him there. I want to see the mindset that an alien from outer space who has the powers of a god would be perceived, and how he would act, and where his patience would be. I want to see that. You got your cookie cutter Superman on Super Friends or whatever. You know what? I want this one. But you know what? I can have all of those. So yeah, I see all the hopeful and all that, and it's just like, oh my
and that
goodness,
word just gets used. It just loses all meaning. I mean, the way it gets applied so just lackadaisically like this. But yeah, let me go ahead and pull up this red one.
Yeah, let me get some of these first, though, because I did talk,
Okay.
and then go ahead and get it ready. But all right, if it's good, the movie sucks, cool, but not. Well, if Superman sucks, I don't think it's going to suck. But if it sucks, I got Fantastic Four. That, to me, there's no way out of July. July is going to be a good month for me, no matter what. Anyway, I'm not really the movie I'm looking forward to anyway in the DC slate, other than Swamp Thing, Batman, Brave and the Bold, Green Lantern. Yeah, I mean, to me, this is step one.
Well, and there's also a lot, and he even said this during the initial like slate presentation. He's like what's been revealed so far. Now I don't know how much like stuff like Teen Titans and Deathstroke and Bane and all that like factors into this, but there is stuff like he made clear in that video, like there's this is only like a partial look at at the chapter 1 slate of movies and shows. So there's now I don't know.
Probably going to change a little bit.
I don't know if it's like 50% of what is intended, or if it's like 20%.
I heard 10, but it all depends. We would have to know the other hard part to know what the percentage. All right, CGH Entertainment Plus. I think Superman stands no chance against Jurassic Park, and even then, I think people are tired of Hollywood in general. Some things need to end. I think Superman's odds of making more money than it may is boosted by Jurassic Park and Fantastic Four. There's no listen when some things in Hollywood are not going to end because they don't need to.
Yeah.
Why? I would need to hear why. Like
Well,
I said, Fantastic Four. If Fantastic Four rolls in with 6, 8, 900 million, why would that need to end?
Well,
If Jurassic Park comes in and makes $1 billion, why would that need to end? Things end when they stop making money consistently. You know,
and the last Jurassic World was not the best received of the series, but it cleared $1 billion, and it was somewhat positioned as the end of the series, but it did what it did. So it's like, okay, we're getting another
Toy Story. It's like Toy Story. You're not going to stop making toy movies.
Yeah, that's true.
Kids Before Dinosaurs or Superman thing. Here's the thing, CG8, though. When they come in, I think that's a July 4th weekend. It's not a preference over one or the other. It's going to be, I'm coming into a theater with the kids and going to see, the dinosaurs. I'm walking past this big red S. I'm walking past this big blue 4. I'm making my plans right there because I'm in that movie going mood. When you're walking out of it, there's a certain euphoria when you go to the movies, coming and going, that you feel. And when that's sitting right there, you want to feel that again. So I think that those movies being in proximity of Jurassic Park, and I think definitely when it comes to Superman being sandwiched in between Fantastic Four and Jurassic Park, I think that is going to boost its outcome. I think it's going to be fun.
And actually, to that point, I mean, I'm kind of curious about this. Real quick before I get to that point, yeah,
absolutely not. Oh,
yes.
I'm sorry. No, absolutely not. I don't care about the drones. Sorry, I don't know anything about them.
I can't either, Aaron. I think it actually, as of right now, I think it might be my most anticipated for 25. God, Aaron and I, it's like we're gonna Aaron, we're going to jointly do the sci-fi center review of Karate Kid Legends that night. That is going to be
I'm gonna hold on, guys. Watch this.
Welcome to the Sci-Fi Center, the place to be, where comic books and wrestling collide magically.
All right, we don't need to go through the whole thing, but I guarantee you, if we were to watch the whole thing through, no Karate Kid.
But I told you, William, it's like they have transversed the multiverse to retcon the 2010 movie into the mainline franchise. So it's clearly sci-fi. Come on. Yes, Aaron, can't wait. Can't wait. Okay, but now Fourth had a super chat. Want to see what is hope without despair? Snyder versus just getting onto the bright side. As other fans went, yeah, I agree.
Well, that's what any story. Like I said, we think we know the ending better than the person doing it, and we never want to give any of these people a chance to finish their story. And see, you never know. You may the culmination may end up where you think the character will be, but let that person get to that point on their own. They are that artist. Let them do their art instead of coming in with your kid, your kid memories saying, well, this is not the Superman I know. It's not supposed to be. You have that Superman on streaming somewhere. Watch it. But if you're going to, at least act like you're going to go see this, then, why not give that person the benefit of the doubt? Wait, maybe after, the dimensions and the struggles and everything else, and he gets his mind wrapped around this planet Earth, he may be the Superman that you're looking for. But people just don't even want to give it a chance. It's just they have that Superman in their head from a toy, a cartoon, a movie from 40 some odd years ago, and they think that's what you're putting that on a new person to project. That's lame.
And that's
Thank you for the super chat, Fourth.
Yes, thanks, Fourth. I mean, that's similar to like why I became so enamored with a Superman and Lois because again, and this is to William's point about because I have one Superman whose arc is unfinished and I want to see finished and I was very enamored with. That does not mean I'm shutting down other Superman. Like I grew up with Christopher Reeve. Obviously, I love much to William Sugar in Smallville. I love Superman the animated series. And I didn't think I was going to like Superman and Lois, but you guys have heard me sing the praises of it constantly, and it deals with kind of a lot of the same kind of themes that William's talking about from a different angle, because like now it's kind of bringing it down to the micro of him raising teenage sons and raising a family and dealing with like new issues because he's looking at the world from the perspective of a husband and father. So that was what really impressed me, among many other things about Superman and Lois. But yeah, really, yeah, I think the point I was going to make a minute ago, because you talked about like how Superman can benefit from being sandwiched between Jurassic World and Fantastic Four, and I think like particularly you're saying with Fantastic Four, just because they're in the same genre, like that really kind of
Well, no, they're going to be playing in the same theaters. You're
yeah,
going to be
but
in the same theaters because
well,
the dinosaur movie is going to help both of those movies.
well, because like what, and this might sound like an odd question, but is there any like like if it weren't those two, like it like if it were something like Fast and Furious and like I don't know, like Despicable Me 5 or something that it was between, like would that help or hurt it? Like what theoretically, like if you didn't have those two?
Any movie that is going to be bringing that demographic to the theater and creating that type of traffic. Traffic in retail is everything. Traffic is everything, whether you're creating it yourself or whether you're benefiting from someone else creating it. Traffic is everything. And if a certain movie is bringing people to the cinema in masses, that's why they have those big posters there. That's why they have it so that you can buy. You'll be able to buy tickets for Superman while you're at Jurassic Park if you want to. There's going to be a good percentage of sales that are going to be bought on their way out. They're, hey, kids, you want to go see that? Look at that. Okay, the box office is right there. Those tickets are on sale already. So you're in the atmosphere. You're in the culture. If you have a movie, if you have two movies in between yours or before and after yours that are bringing traffic to the theaters, those posters are that big red S is going to be a very enticing thing for a family. And you get them right there and then. Like I said, there's a certain euphoria when you go watch a good movie, especially if it's a good movie that you like. If it's a movie that you like, it's if you like Jurassic Park and you want something else, bam, there's Superman. Guess what? You walk out of Superman, there's Fantastic Four.
Well, these things will probably have trailers playing. Like these three specifically will probably have trailers, playing for each of them. Playing in front of the other. So there's that crossover too. Rational Skeptics at 28 years later. Brad Pitt's F1. I don't think I heard that one. Jurassic World, Superman, and Fantastic Four all open back to back. Which will win out, and will they cannibalize each other?
Okay, so so right here, there's a demographic shift. 28 years later is not going to hurt anybody because that's not kind of people you're taking to 28 years later are not the people you're
not taking kids to that. You're not taking families to that. You're not even
yeah. At 28 years later, it might do well, but it's going to do well amongst mom and dad and people without kids. So they're out of the equation there. Brad Pitt's F1 is not something a kid's going to want to sit through. It might be cool to watch the cars run around, but it's not the same demographic. Once again, that's a date night movie, not a family movie. So the Jurassic World, Superman, Fantastic Four, they're not going to cannibalize each other because you make the majority, like I've always said, you make the majority of the money you're ever going to make in the first 2 weeks for most of these movies. So if July 4th is when Jurassic Park gets released, then that's 2 weeks. Actually, no, it's 1 week. 1 week, but I don't think that's going to cannibalize because I think Superman is released on 11. When is Jurassic Park? Is
Jurassic World? That is, I think, like June 30th, something like that. So it's like just kind of on the cusp of July.
You roughly have a week and a half or so before that hits. So
and the Fantastic Four, that's like the 25th.
That's 2 weeks later. So if anything, if you were worried about cannibalization of anything, it would be with the two comic book IPs. But they're 2 weeks away. By the time your money starts to wane, no matter what is coming in week 3, you've already made the bulk of your money. Those first 2 weeks are where you make the bulk of your money. So by the time week 3 comes, now here's Fantastic Four. So it's not like they're like back to back or on the same day. So that traffic, you have a constant stream of traffic. Thank you for the super chat, Rational. You have a constant stream of traffic going from the end of June all the way through the month of July. That's good for all three of those.
Well, let me go ahead and pull up a couple of these articles I was talking about. Like one relates to the kind of the financial talk we were talking about, albeit not for anything DC related. It's actually but it's for a DC actor. Go ahead and read this comment.
My question would be: I don't want Superman and friends like Guardians of the Galaxy, Suicide Squad. I want Superman movie about Superman. Listen. I don't know what he's gonna give me. This is something that he's never done before. See, this is where I'm willing to give James Gunn a benefit of the doubt until he shows me that he can't handle this type of story. So far, what he's been asked to do, he's done it. This is something different, though. So I'm willing to give him the leeway. As a fellow comic book fan, I'm willing to see how he pours this out on the screen. There's a good chance I might think this is shit. I'm not, but there's a good chance I might think it's great. But I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt until then.
And like with his prior work, like in Guardians, like I don't think it's shit, but I'm just not. They just never really pulled me in like the Guardians movies, and like I liked his Suicide Squad a little bit more, but again, it's like I've never been like terribly enamored with his prior work. But again, that can definitely change. I mean,
yeah, and like I said, it's like saying Jonathan Demme can only do Married to the Mob. If we were to put we got to stop putting as a fandom putting limitations on storytellers as if their full breadth of their talent. I mean, like I said, otherwise we don't get Silence of the Lambs. If we look at it and say, well, that guy can only do rom-coms, but he can't do one of the great horror serial killer movies of all time. If we had been so close-minded then, what about when it comes to actors? It's the same thing. That's why I don't like fan casting. Everybody I know laughed at Heath Ledger mentioned as the Joker. And then look how that turned out. They know more than we do when it comes to this stuff. All right, we're on the outside of the window. We are the consumer here to be entertained. Let those guys do their thing, and then if it doesn't turn out right, then we go on to the next one. All right.
I'm going to pull this up. Now, William has not seen this movie and has no intention to, but I found this kind of interesting. Red One pulls in record 50 million global viewers in debut because it's now on. It's still out in theaters, but it's also on Amazon Prime. Which I mean, they wanted also.
Which was always where it was meant to be.
Exactly.
By the way.
I mean, it's a Christmas movie made by Amazon Prime, and we're a week after Christmas.
During the Christmas season, and who's selling you a ton of shit during Christmas?
So yeah, the most ever for an Amazon MGM CU movie. And I'm not going to read the whole article, but I'm going to go down the highlights. Basically, it's like it pulled in a record-breaking 50 million worldwide viewers in its first 4 days on Prime Video. That's the most watched Amazon.
Brad, start over. Start over.
Okay.
My brain, my half a brain can't go that fast.
Dwayne Johnson and Chris Evans' holiday action movie Red One pulled a record-breaking 50 million worldwide viewers in its first 4 days on Prime Video. That's the most watched Amazon MGM Studios film ever on the OTT service, besting Roadhouse from March 21, which clocked 50 million global viewers alone in its first 2 weekends. And the 200 million feature production was originally greenlit to go straight to Prime Video, but after the movie tested favorably, Amazon MGM Studios pivoted to theatrical release. And that talks a little bit about it's done, it's done so theatrically. It's I guess it's like 175 theatrically, and but this is from Jennifer Salke, head of Amazon MGM Studios. Given the audience response to Red One, both in theaters and on Prime Video, the film will clearly be a perennial holiday favorite for years to come. Every film is different, and we are so grateful for the partnership with our filmmakers in collectively finding the right strategy to get the film in front of the widest possible audience. With Red One, there was no doubt that strategy needed to include a theatrical release and associated marketing campaign, which drove audiences to theaters and generated awareness for the film with viewers who would ultimately tune in on Prime Video. It's rewarding to see our plan pay off for customers, and we are incredibly thankful to the entire filmmaking team and cast who will make it happen. So, and then there's, just a lot of other kind of.
Wait a minute. If that was part of the strategy, why did they have to be talked into putting it in the theaters?
Yeah.
I mean,
that may just be like PR fluff, but
I really think it is. Amazon, when the theatrical is like, they got MGM for that. They want to do
that. But again, I bring this up and I mentioned it to William because it kind of plays into like our the talk we have on here a lot about the business model of the and not just strictly. I mean, this can be applied to everything we were just saying about Superman and guns, saying, oh yeah, this is all like riding on this, and if it it's all come crashing down if it doesn't hit big enough, and again, this just exemplifies. I mean, the narrative around Red One is that it's been a flop, and now we've seen. I mean, Amazon's clearly very happy with the totality of its performance, and this exemplifies in the post-COVID world so much of how box office is now. It's just one piece of the pie in terms of the revenue stream, and especially for something place like Amazon, where they're primarily concerned with like how this performs on the streaming service, because they want you, as the Roadhouse director said, they want you to get on there right after you stream something and buy a toilet cleaners or whatever the analogy he went with was.
Remember what I just said a few minutes ago? Traffic is everything, man.
Yeah, and actually, when I shared this, on social media, I kind of made the comment of, again, outlining how you can't just boil and both we as audience members, moviegoers, but also arguably more importantly, the people at the executive level, you can't just boil down in the post-COVID world, especially the success of your project or for your movie or show, whatever, down to how many butts it puts in the seats theatrically, because we've got all these other ancillary revenue sources. Some of them, they are becoming even more primary now, like streaming. And one comment I made is, I would be surprised if Black Adam has done like comparable numbers on HBO Max. In the time, there was one report it was the most streamed movie of 2023 on HBO Max. So yeah, it's, and I had a little bit of a conversation with one of my colleagues from Fortress, Sergio. You're watching. We talked a little bit about, it's like, yeah, I mean, if you saw the total, like the comprehensive financials of a lot of things, in the post-COVID world, a lot of things that are regarded as bombs. I think a lot of those, like when you look at in its totality, a lot of those would be hits, or at least not money losers.
And a lot of them wouldn't even get greenlit if it wasn't for streaming. Well, WBD are the ones that said DC is their crown jewel, and they hope that Superman will vitalize their stock.
They really. They went straight to the stock though about that.
Well, they were. I mean, listen, DC is the crown jewel because there's just so much money to be made to it. But to their credit, let's give WBD credit. They knew at some point they didn't know what they were doing with it. They created a studio and put a comic book guy, a movie maker in there. So as bad and as boneheaded as some of the decisions that I think they've made up to this point, what they did by creating DC Studios. Remember why a lot of Snyder bros or cults, whatever the fuck the washed up people want to call us. Remember if there had been a studio head between the Warner Brothers pictures that had been contractually signed on and would have things written into their contract that says
his name was not Jeff Johns,
that he would have never even been a candidate. If you'd have had a studio head in there in between the Sarnoffs and the Emmerichs and all that, you would have had a different situation. You may have gotten into that story because the studio head would have things in his or her contract that gives them a certain amount of time, that gives them a certain amount of leeway to do this, do that, to hire. And there's certain things in that contract that says, once you hire me, this decision is mine. The only way you can intervene before we start seeing returns is if you relieve me of my duties completely, and then you're going to pay me. So not only are you going to be left to start over again, but you're still paying the guy. So if you'd have had a studio head in there, you would have had something in there. So the fact that they've created a DC Studios is I think people overlook it sometimes, but it's massive. It's massive.
We just wish we had it, 8-9 years
ago.
Yeah,
and I can't do time travel. So
Snyder Bros and Snyder Hose. Don't be sexy.
Yeah, whatever the name. They come up with new stupid ass names to call us.
Oh yeah,
so it's like I don't care.
Well,
but
now,
go ahead.
What I was saying now to kind of I don't know if this is like pouring cold water on everything we just laid out, but this was something I just came across actually just a little bit ago that may also play into like a lot of what we've been foretelling and describing on here. Come on. Warner Bros. Discovery CEO David Zaslav sells $30 million in stock. Now, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but basically the question from the reactions I've seen is like, okay, you're selling that much stock, or are you getting ready to sell the company? Or are you getting ready to merge the company?
Either that, or he's thinking his stock price is going to drop. I don't know. I see. I don't know. I don't know either way. I mean, I don't know why he would. Is he preparing, or did he sell it? Is it already done deal?
It sounds like he had it says sell. So I'm going to let me read a little bit here.
Because I would have
recently sold. So he has sold the stock already.
I don't know why, if he was going to sell that, why he wouldn't wait till Thursday morning or Thursday night, overnight, or Friday morning, because when you have a trailer of an anticipated movie, that usually jumps the stock price, unless he's leaving. And I can't speculate. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if there's anything left for David Zaslav to do with the company than what he wanted to. His job is, no matter what this company becomes after he's gone, he created a new company He made a whole bunch of people some money, and then if he gets out with his payout, you know, his 30 million stock, and then his buyout or whatever it is, his severance, and he's on. And then we're talking about the next guy, but that's a lot of stock to sell. But I don't know why he would sell it.
Well, here's a little bit of a more following the sale. Zaslav retains direct ownership of 3 million, ish shares. The transaction was reportedly conducted as part of year-end income tax and gift estate planning activities. Additionally, Zaslav indirectly owns 153 shares through his spouse.
Okay, so he's decreasing his profile for tax liability. That's what he's doing. That's like me donating a bunch of comics at the end of the year to decrease my overall liability as far as on-hand revenue and on-hand. That's all right.
So there's just a lot of just financial breakdown there, but I just saw that. It's like, oh, okay, what is? Do we need to buckle up for something else here?
No, it could be. It is. He has less than about a week and a half. Less than about 2 weeks or so before the end of the year. So anything you're going to do tax liability wise, whether it's going to be donations, if you're going to donate like me, I'm going to donate a bunch of stuff that we don't need to, like Critical Care Comics and stuff like that. We get receipts on that stuff, and that decreases your financial liability for what you are accountable for the year 2024. So if he decreases his financial liability, that's less he gets taxed on, because he gets taxed capital gains on that. So that it could be a lot of things, but more than likely it just means that it's the end of the year. The guys like that.
Of stock sell though.
But the 30 million could be the difference between a certain tax bracket and percentage and another.
Yeah.
So he has enough stock. So.
Yeah, but anyway, I thought I'd share that because it's like we've been talking about the future of this eternally wobbly company, and I just saw a fair amount of commentary on that. Like, okay, I'll ask me what that's all about.
This is just me personally, CGH. I just never got the feeling that Zach wanted to be in that position.
He wanted to make movies. It's like he didn't want to order other people around making movies.
Well, plus, like I said, he had his profile that he wanted. I just never got the sense from hearing him talk and all that. I mean, I could be wrong, but I don't think he would have been. Now, if there would have been a James Gunn or some type of studio head above him, I think Zach would have been able to finish out his story, because I think having a studio head walk is not a good look, because once again, if you guys came to an agreement that you're going to be allowed to do this and these are your parameters, and you violate that parameters, you're going to have to pay that guy out. And Warner Brothers ain't got the kind of money to just keep paying guys out over and over again and not getting anything out of them. So I don't know. I think there needed to be a studio head back in 2014, but it didn't need to be Zach necessarily. But it needed to be somebody who could act as a buffer and in the best interest of the studio, whereas Warner Brothers Pictures was not doing so. So,
yep. Zaslav needs more money for Coke. Okay.
Guys, yeah, I don't even say that.
Let's see what else we got here. See. Bluey is going to be made into a movie. Yes, 35th anniversary of The Simpsons. Yes, that is a very important day in history.
Okay, sure. 5 movies. No, but see, it doesn't matter how many movies you make. It's what kind. See, there's a difference between what Zach was doing as a director and what a studio head does as a running a studio. That's not. I just never got the sense that's what he wants to do. He could have done 10 movies as a director, and that would have still not made him a studio head. Yeah. It's just
because he was like handling the Justice League portion of the franchise. Like he was kind of like he was kind of like the team captain, you might call him, of the directors. But yeah, he was never out to be like the studio head.
Yeah, and be honest with you, like I said, I don't know if Jay Oliva
he actually is a studio. He has his own animation studio that he's head of too. So he's already there.
But when you're talking about something like Warner Brothers, a division inside of Warner Brothers, that's a different level that not everybody's qualified and not everybody wants. Yeah. I mean, let's look how many people said no,
including
to the
James Gunn,
to get on the way to getting it. So
yeah, they could be. Yeah, they could be.
Which one? Yeah, you hold on. I meant to say something about it. I think Brad distracted me with his kung fu stuff.
Oh, you mean about this awesome trailer for this amazing
No,
Odyssey of martial wisdom? The is Karate Kid Legends that?
whatever. Do you think it may play out almost like Toy Story, where Superman, like Woody, was popular, a popular relic of the time, and then all of a sudden new heroes start showing up? Well, yeah, and that's kind of like the Kingdom Come franchise framework, but it was done. I like the way they did it in Kingdom Come. I mean, if they're trying to do that in a modernized setting, I'm not a big fan of that, but I'll go along with it.
Well, also Kingdom Come, that's that whole set. It's taking place after like a real there's tragic circumstances. That
well, and there's 20 years.
Yeah, and he's also an older Superman. He's got the gray temples, and so
to me, that's the time difference in between the modern era and where you see Superman in Kingdom Come is a big part of the story for me. Just having it happen in the modern era, that doesn't do, because it's the time you're talking about. Not only are you talking about something happening that changes the way people in society view superheroes, we're talking time passing for these people and they're being in different points of their lives and what this means to them now, what it means to Bruce Wayne at that point in his life, Kal-El, all these guys. So I thought that was when you read Kingdom Come, I thought to me the timeline of it is the most important part of it.
Yeah.
I do think he might be inspired to do it here though, but yeah, I do think that you're looking at superheroes that have been commercialized and doing it either for money and different things and have different methods than what Superman and Wonder Woman and Batman and all these guys, the way they did it just because of things that affected them in their life. So that could be what we're good for. But it's like I said, I'll wait till Thursday to give you a better answer there.
Oh God, will this rich jackass stop buying companies? Actually, by the way, one thing I will mention too, because we got a little bit of a taste of and we had a little bit of a debate about it. We got the motion poster, and we got like a taste of some of the score. Actually, it's probably a good time to talk about that because the score, I mean, it's definitely something new, even though we haven't heard it all. But you could definitely hear chords of both John Williams and Hans Zimmer in it.
It starts out with Hans Zimmer and then wraps up with John Williams.
Yeah, and I find that kind of interesting, and like something that some of the Film Junkie says, like that Gunn maybe like his stylistically he might be trying to like position this as kind of like a hybrid of Donner and Snyder style as far as Superman. And I think I'm gonna share this with you, Liam, like offline, because I don't want to like say this publicly until we see the trailer, and I may actually pitch something or write something on this, but I think I want to see the trailer first to kind of get a sense of this before I do anything like this. But I think this might play a little bit into like some stuff I've written previously we talked about on here. That I might have a bit of a theory about why that is, about like why this Superman might seem to like come across as kind of like a hybrid, Donner Snyder universe kind of tone. So that's all I'll kind of say about it for right now. But that's something I again, with some and a lot of other people point that out too. I mean, a lot of people point out you hear elements of the John Williams theme and the Hans Zimmer theme in it, and there's been commentaries there's been commentary all over the place saying that David Cornsweet, he looks a pretty fair amount like Henry Cavill, and
Henry Cavill looks like Superman too. Let's be fair. I mean,
he was definitely born for it. But yeah, the more I think about this thing, again, I don't want to go.
I hate the trunks though. I hate the trunks.
I'm not
saying when it comes. Listen, guys, you're not going to hear a lot of great things from me when it comes to his costume. What you will hear from me is the costume. My disdain for the costume is not going to stop. It's not going to be a deal breaker or in any way, shape, or form for the movie. I don't like the trunks. I don't like the S.
Your big thing is the S.
I don't like the
S, yeah.
That the trunks, the S. I don't like that collar. I don't like that cowl. I don't like that, and I hate that. That reminds me of Injustice, and it reminds me of New 52, which is my least favorite Superman costume, with the exception of that one doesn't have trunks. But I think the trunks and the justification for the trunks that David Cornsweet gave,
that was
ridiculous.
Yeah, that was what the hell. Yeah, if there's one thing, it's like okay. And there were because there's been some, from that set visit, from some interviews, there's been like a lot of sound bites circulating, through the media about that, and like and some of them have been I think more kind of interesting than others. But that was like okay, what the, because the whole thing is like he doesn't want people to feel scared of him, so he's wearing the trunks. It's like okay, that's the bullshit, man. I'm sorry, Superman could be this Superman could be like Godfather 2 level of Superman. It's like that will not get that.
It's,
That
it
is
makes
not a
him
good.
appear more friendly and hopeful. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Listen, the reason why, for those of you who don't know, most of you do, if you're watching this channel, you are probably knew that before you even knew who I was. The reason why Trunks came into superheroism is because back in that day,
Strongman.
you had the strongmen and you had the wrestlers and you had the people that were performing all over the place, selling all the nutrients and stuff like that. And those guys wore the tights. Now, the reason why they are wearing underwear outside of those tights is because those guys traveled and they were performing in circuses and fairs and all that, and not every place was summertime or springtime. They were playing in places where it was cold, so they still wanted the tights to be visible, but they wore the leotard under them so that they could at least be warm when they're outside lifting the fake 2-ton barbells or something that they were supposed to be. It was something that when you saw that, it was strong, and Superman being the first superhero, that has basically got adopted towards a lot of different things. It got adapted from, because the strong man back in the circus days was superhumanly strong. It was a fraud, but it was superhumanly strong. So superhuman, superhero got blended with that, and that's where it came out. That's like 100 years ago. I hate the Trunks on any superhero costume. I absolutely hate them. And this is go back years and years.
I mean, there was a time where you had him on Batman.
Yeah, and then for most of Batman's career, and I didn't see any reason there. I thought it looked ridiculous. Even as a kid, I thought it looked ridiculous. But
We even kind of had it with Wonder Woman too. Like I always call it the Star Spangled Bikini that she used to wear. And
yeah, well, she still kind of wears that, but that's part of. It's different for a woman like that because they didn't have women. They had strong women, but they weren't the same as what they would influence Superman and Batman. But like I said, I don't like the S. I don't like the collar. I don't like anything on the costume. So, and I don't like the texture. But that's another story. Do you think the Batman will be canon in DCU? No,
I hope not.
I don't think so. I think he stated as much. If it's still Pattinson,
but there's like this new wave of like people who are just like, relating to the Superman trailer. They're just like all of a sudden like they're now just. I don't know if they're hearing things through the grapevine. I hope not, but I mean,
if they're hearing things through the grapevine, they don't even need to hear it through the grapevine. The guy who's making the stuff said no,
yeah,
and the guy who's making the other
suddenly
stuff,
this explosion of people saying, "Yeah, make Pattinson."
That doesn't mean it's going to happen or that there's any validity to it, though. I mean, it's just a lot of people say stupid shit.
But why? This is the GIF I went with is like because I share my thoughts on social media. I use the GIF from Lost World saying, "Oh, this is the worst idea in the long sad history of bad ideas."
Let me answer this question real quick because no on every level that you can imagine. No on the fact that I think when it comes to the Batman, one of the things that Matt Reeves has been very adamant about is that is its own thing, and he would probably walk. Now, just because he's making DC content for DC Studios, all that means is that James Gunn recognizes that he has a top tier filmmaker and he wants him working with him, whether it be making the Batman stuff or making Batman stuff for him. That doesn't mean those two are going to blend. People see that and they're all like, well, they got to be doing it now because we fill in the bullshit in between the actual reality and try to make a sandwich out of it. But it's not. No, he's probably going to be with DC Studios for a while. If you're smart and James, you lock this guy up because you don't want him working for anybody else. You recognize what he is. That's what kind of stuff that you want. But I there's nothing indicated. I don't think on any. It could be wrong, but I doubt under any way, shape, or form that they will mix those two uniforms. It doesn't make any sense. That's fanboy logic, But when you think of it from the point of Matt Reeves, why would you do that?
And see, I used to see also a lot of. Now, this wasn't necessarily like a big push by fans for this to actually happen, but I used to see a lot of fan art. That would pair up Pattinson with Tyler Hoechlin, and it was like, and that was more like a kind of like, they just kind of look cool together.
That would have been a disaster.
I agree, but again, that wasn't like an active push. It was kind of like, they just kind of look cool together. So
if it comes from fanboy spirit, it's fun, but it usually dies on the tarmac. Because if Daredevil can exist in the same universe as Talking Tree and a Talking Raccoon, okay, so. Those are two drastically different circumstances. Okay, so Warner Brothers already had everything they needed to do everything with Batman. When it came to Daredevil and things like that, those had been licensed out. So you're talking about one of them. Everybody who's done anything Marvel, always in the back of their head, were doing it under the guise of Marvel, some way, shape, or form. If you're doing something that has that Marvel logo on it, like they did with the pages flipping, you were doing so with the common thought that what you were doing, even if no matter how high the probability was, adjacent to that universe. Even Sony's doing their shit adjacent to that universe. Everybody who's making Marvel stuff is doing it with the knowledge that at some point in time that can be used in adjacent to that universe. That's not the same thing with the Batman. The Batman has been cultivated as its own thing with no intention of being adjacent to anything out of Gotham. I mean, we've had two examples now of him basically extending his universe within his universe. So with Daredevil, it was different. We were talking about Inhumans, all that stuff. Could it happen? Yeah, but you also didn't have Matt Reeves involved in all that, and Matt Reeves is not the people who are doing Daredevil. I just think the circumstances are drastically different.
Oh, Hunter Iggy's got a couple good ones here I want to highlight. Brad James gonna send your review. Who will pay respect to, and you got right. So pay respect to Henry and Zach for his Superman movie. Again, this kind of plays into. Again. I'm not gonna go into detail, but this kind of plays a little bit into like my the theory I was alluding to. It's like okay, we're hearing like chords of both Williams and Zimmer, and apparently again and there's indications that the tone or the approach, it's going to feel like a symbiosis of Donner and Snyder. And Gunn has, I've seen the interview you're talking about where he said it's like, yeah, I took influence from Zach, on this among other sources. And again, I want to see the trailer before I go in depth on this, but I think I'm getting a little bit. The theory engine in my head is kind of turning on this, and it kind of pertains to like the recent feature I did on Fortress, where I said like, wait, the title's wait a minute, what if this is what James Gunn's doing with the DCU? I want to see the trailer. I want to see a little bit more detail about the universe before like really go full blown into this but I think and it relates to like why also he's carrying over things like Peacemaker and Amanda Waller and like events from his DCEU stuff into the DCU. I'm getting a sense. I think I might know why all this is. I think I might have a sense of what he's doing with all this. And you know what? It playing off of that feature I did, that thesis I had in there, this could long term, I think this could actually this could be pretty cool. I think this could unite the DC fandom.
I think I know where you're going with it. We'll talk offline.
Yeah.
Okay, he didn't fire him. And listen, that situation sucked, and I remember when it went down. That wasn't James Gunn. All James Gunn did is say yes to a job. Now, once he says yes, you can't have him. Now, should there have been a resolution? Yes, that shouldn't have been his job. I've always said over and over again, Zazoff blew that. And that should have been Abdi and DeLuca finishing off and putting a bow on that. Unless we get other information, and there's a reason why, and we may be talking about that offline, why this wasn't done. Until then, I can't blame him. He didn't fire. He just got his Superman. That's all he did.
Well, it's the same reason. I mean, again, like we've shared our feelings on how we feel like the fandom and the people involved like definitely have a right to feel angry and heartbroken and cheated and ripped off. But it's the same thing I said with Pattinson, same thing I said with Corn Sweat. I don't blame these guys for taking a job when they have the opportunity to take it. So you can't hold that against people when an opportunity is put in front of them.
And I can't pin somebody else's Superman on them necessarily. That's a tough one, guys. Do you think James Gunn ever brings Darkseid? Yes, I just don't know when.
Yeah.
Destroyed the Snyderverse and all right, so this is me going off script and just basically pulling shit out of my ass. If he's as big a comic book fan as I think he is, and he knows the uniqueness of Darkseid,
and he's shown reason to think he's, a big comic book geek.
I don't see why he wouldn't bring a Ray Porter Darkseid back and use it that way. But like I said, I need more more to go on than what
I'll pull that back up real quick. Because this goes into like again the the makeup of the multiverse in DC lore is that, in every universe, there's a different version of, Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, everybody on every Earth, every planet. Like there's, doppelgangers of them throughout the multiverse. That's not the case for the new gods on New
as long
Genesis.
as they are on
Yeah, when they're on New Genesis, when they're on
New
Apocalypse,
Genesis.
again, there's only one Darkseid, there's only one Steppenwolf, there's only one Calibac, there's only one Granny Goodness, there's only one Blade, there's only ever going to be one Blade. I just had to get that in there, William. Okay, but no, joking aside, yeah, there's only one version of all the new gods because they exist outside the multiverse. So that would, if Gunn were to theoretically carry that element of DC Comics lore, cinematically, then that would theoretically involve, okay, Ray Porter's Darkseid, he's the Darkseid for all of DC. Cinematically, TV, it's like, we got one Darkseid. The Darkseid you saw in Zack Snyder's Justice League, that's the Darkseid for my universe, for whatever other DC universe or projects we have in the works. That is Darkseid, cinematically, TV for us. That's it.
That, once again, that's not on him. That's on Zaslav. That's not on him. It's not on him to do that. That was Zaslav. And once he should have had a plan in place for Cavill and to wrap this up while this was going on. You didn't need to wait to.
Well, again, the fact that he's telling.
Hold on. You didn't need to wait for that, Matty. You actually just need to make a better decision on the Zaslav end of it.
Well, again, he's telling Abdi and DeLuca, or he's approving Cavill coming back. At the same time, he's telling Gunn, yeah, go write a Superman reboot. So,
yeah. Well, that was before he was studio head. I think The Rock also had a hand in Henry Cavill. Yeah, he
brought him back. Yeah, that's the hand.
Well, The Rock had been fighting for 5 years to get Henry Cavill on the screen, so that The Rock did the right thing. There was no studio head. Had there been a DC studio head, you would have never had The Rock had to do that.
Yeah, we would have had Superman as Williams put it, it's like the Black Adam would have been in his movie.
Yeah. Do you think that Gunn's plan will lead to a Final Crisis film with DCU? No. I don't think you'll ever see the Arrowverse again. You might see certain characters in the Arrowverse, but as far as the Arrowverse as a whole, I don't think you'll ever see.
I think the most likely one you would probably see would be Grant Gustin's Flash, because again, playing on the speedsters transversing different.
I would have had my end credit scene of one of these movies. It would have been what's his face's Flash from the 90s. You would have had you would have had them all. You would have had them all running towards a certain point in time to stop Darkseid from being able to get back there, and then let Metron take care of the rest, because Metron can actually he has a lot of power. He could have made Darkseid forget about a lot of stuff, But hey,
I really hope. I doubt you'll ever see that.
You never know.
I mean, okay, well, let me walk that back. It's like we weren't going to see it under the previous regime, because it was just greenlit, because they were just pulling shit out of their ass.
When they hired him, so.
Gunn, again, he said, I'm committed to Elseworlds too. So if he sees potential in that, then then that might actually get realized, because you have like an apparatus or something like that can actually thrive.
CG, that was the previous regime, and they're gone. So I don't think Gunn that previous regime didn't have the ability to think like James Gunn can. So, all right. I don't know anything about the Zod one. I don't know anything about the Zod rumors.
You're talking about the Michael B. Jordan one that was another one that got that was announced. I think back in 2018.
They are still contractually obligated to do the movie. They would have to buy somebody out for the movie not to happen. But I don't know what's the timetable. It could be years from now. Who knows?
Yeah, probably. I would imagine it would be Elseworlds or
it'd definitely be Elseworlds.
Yeah. So,
and the fact that you have a studio head that's open to that is quite endearing. So good. All right, guys.
Yeah.
I don't watch Campia today.
I saw the video we posted. I hadn't seen. I haven't watched it yet, but it's like okay. Did he address the elephant in the room with Buffy? By any chance, Aaron?
I don't think it's going to happen. To be honest with you.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Because, like I said, whether you like him or not, that era of Buffy, you wouldn't even have Buffy without that. But he's the one that when they canceled Buffy, that got it moved over to networks, because it was on Fox. I figured out what it was. He was the biggest advocate to keep it going in syndication, and look how that happened. Look how that turned out. So I mean, yeah, two things can be true. Yeah, he's this and that, but at the same time, if you're going to do Buffy, I find it why would you do that? That would be like no, it's just I can't even think of a good analogy because it would be a waste of time. You just go to the convention, go to a Buffy convention if you want to have a reunion without him.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
I think that's right. We're about to wrap it up. 42 of you. Actually, this time the majority of us are watching us on the YouTube channel, which is great. Thank you.
That's pretty cool.
So the other 19 of you that are watching, if you can come over from the crazy palace over there and come over to us and give us a like, subscribe, do all that kind of stuff. This week this week is going to be his vodka stream is going to be wild, so we're probably going to be on that. I'm going to try not to have Brad stealing my glory on that fucking show.
You're just you're just butthurt that all my talk about root for Kiwi Kwan's come back like
all your talk.
I can't think.
No, I'm still here.
Okay, you froze for a second.
But yeah. I'm okay with having good conversation, but you guys have seen the ones that are out there that I'm trying to avoid. I will be up. We'll do a special really quick stream. It'll be 6 a.m. in the morning, so I probably will just stay up because I generally don't go to bed till around 4 or 5 anyway because I'm a night owl. But I'll probably just stay up. It's not going to be a long stream. I'm going to watch it. I'm going to discuss it. What I liked about it, what I don't like, where I think we're going, and then I'm going to go. I'm going to go to bed. But I will not be dedicating. I can be on a stream that's dedicated to it, but I don't want to dedicate all of our time. There's a lot of stuff to talk about in pop culture.
And like I said, is like some of where my head's kind of drifting on this now. So, I would, as a lifelong Superman fan, I would love for the circumstances of how we've gotten here to ultimately result in something that I will be enthusiastic to see theatrically and interested to see where this version of the character goes. And again, how we've gotten here has made that very difficult for me, to say nothing of the discourse around it. But I don't want to I don't want to not like a Superman movie that's coming out. I don't want to not like any superhero movie that's coming out. So,
but for me, I need a better reason than it's not Zach's version.
Yeah, exactly.
Me, I need a better reason than that, because none of that is his James Gunn's issue. So,
and that's why I want to see the trailer first before I fully commit to this. And even then, I'm probably still keep going down the rabbit hole on it.
Yeah, I hope it's not one of your conspiracies. But
but again, the fact that that we're getting the early teases, a lot of the commentary on it saying this feels like a hybrid of Donner and Snyder. I think I might know why that is, and I think I might know where he's taking that. And if I'm right about that, this could actually be pretty cool.
All right, guys, please like, subscribe, share, go to the store.
Go to the store. I'll have Karate Kid dreams. Damn right, Aaron.
Go to the store, support the center, leave a super chat, leave a thanks, join up. By the way, new rule from this point on, when it comes to bringing on panelists, other than a select few, the panelists will come from our Patreon, or they will come from our members. I will no longer be dropping the chat or dropping it directly into the chat, because that gets too chaotic, and it's just So we're gonna limit it to our. Should
I just say it?
Nah, let's wait.
Okay.
We're gonna be, if you're a YouTube member, then we'll send that link to you. If you're a Patreon member, we'll send that link to you. But I will no longer just be randomly dropping it into the open chat anymore, because that's gotten a little bit crazy. So on that note, tomorrow night. Tomorrow night is our wow, it's a week already. Shit. Creature Commandos.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Creature Commandos at midnight. And I've rather enjoyed each and every one of these so far. So I've enjoyed watching
what's going to be this episode's Nazi massacre?
No, this is Weasel's episode, I think. Weasel's episode. So it'll be him, and it'll be his whole story about how he probably didn't kill any of those kids. So on that note, we are out of here, and I will see you all tomorrow at midnight.
Right.